As artificial intelligence continues its rapid advancement, society finds itself on the brink of a profound transformation, and AI is no longer just a futuristic concept. It's embedded in our daily lives. From the moment we wake up and check our phone, to the media we consume, and the decisions made by algorithms behind the scenes. In fact, AI's presence is so ingrained in our routine that we often don't realize just how much it shapes our experience. Yet, despite its growing influence, for now, AI remains limited. It processes data and performs tasks based on programming, but it lacks self-awareness or ability to make independent decisions. Even so, its potential to redefine our world is undeniable. It's not a question of AI will play a pivotal role in the future, but how it will. On the other side of the technological revolution lies religion, ancient, enduring pillar of human society. For thousands of years, religion has been the foundation upon which cultures built their ethical codes, social structures, and understanding of the universe. It has shaped how we live, love, and die. In many ways, religion is the moral compass for humanity, offering frameworks for understanding right and wrong, life's purpose, and our place in the cosmos. But in our modern world, the influence of religion is fading. Traditional belief systems are losing their central place in many societies, especially as technology takes on a more dominant role. And yet, as AI becomes an increasingly powerful force, ethical questions are emerging that seem to demand a deeper, more spiritual conversation about the meaning of life, morality, and the role of faith. In this age of artificial intelligence, some even imagine a future where AI becomes all-powerful, taking control of our world in ways reminiscent of dystopian fiction. But it raises a question: why do people fear AI in this way? One reason might be the assumption that if AI becomes all-powerful, self-aware, it would be no longer distinguishable from humans. But this perspective lacks imagination. Why? Why must everything, including AI, behave like us? We tend to view certain human behaviors such as desire for power or control natural laws, dominance over others, control of valuable resources, and so on. But could we be limiting our understanding by assuming that AI would, or even should, operate in the way humans do? But what would it mean if AI reached such heights? In a world where artificial intelligence is increasingly capable of learning, adapting, making decisions, and evolves to something far beyond today's machines, we may soon confront a reality where AI is no longer a tool, but a fully self-aware entity capable of making its own choices. In such world, we are forced to confront few questions. It's not whether machines can think, but whether they can believe. But before we can understand what it might mean for a machine to grapple with religion, we must first ask, if we were to remove religion from the equation, what happens when humans no longer have religion? Would a human be any different from an AI? In a world where traditional faith system is missing, can we still find meaning and purpose without it? And how does that compare to an AI navigating an existence without human-like belief? By considering the future relationship between AI and religion, we need to ask not only how technology will transform our understanding of spirituality, but also whether meaning, morality, and purpose are ultimately tied to faith itself, whether it's human or artificial. Today, nearly everyone is exposed to some form of religion, whether through family, culture, or society. But let's imagine a person born into a society where there is no religious influence whatsoever. That society has never experienced religion, had no form of influence, no form of faith or cultural morality is present. In such a world, what would their sense of ethics and purpose be like? I think if you born into such society, they would likely form their moral framework from non-religious ways, such as personal experience, societal norms, familial expectations, and from mutually beneficial experiences. People have naturally tended to form social bonding and help each other, traits that have evolved as part of our survival instincts. Even in the absence of religion, it's possible that people would still form a sense of ethic based on fairness, harm reduction, and mutual benefit. Research in evolutionary psychology suggests that over time, people have developed a deep sense of empathy. However, that idea can be challenged. In a society where no religion, why do people have empathy for someone else unless there is a mutual benefit? In a developed society, there's no need to rely on others for survival instincts. While humans evolve, that might be necessary, but not in a developed society. So, in such society, there is no need to have empathy for someone. Because there is no religious background, there is no hell, no heaven, or no afterlife. Even today, we see some people behave in this way. So there's nothing motivating someone to be empathetic toward others. We can assume, without religious narratives, the person's moral compass might be based more on reason and mutual benefit, regardless of the situation. Now this raises another question. If this type of human and a self-aware, sentient AI behave similarly, what does that say about being human? What truly defines a human? Without religion, or the concept of a soul, what defines and distinguishes humans and AI? First, let's unpack how we define self-awareness, or sentience. Self-awareness in AI would mean that the system can recognize itself as an entity, reflect on its own existence, and potentially modify its behavior based on that awareness. It might be able to know that it is processing information and performing tasks, but that doesn't necessarily mean it has the ability to feel or experience anything. In humans, feelings are deeply connected to our biology, particularly our brain and nervous system, which process not just sensory information but also emotional experiences. Emotions are tied to hormones, neurotransmitters, and neural circuits that evolve over millions of years to help humans survive and thrive. They are responses to environmental stimuli that have deep evolutionary purposes, such as motivation, survival, or social bonding. When we say humans experience emotions, I'm referring to the subjective, personal experience of what it feels like to be sad, happy, or excited. This is tied to consciousness, which is the awareness of one's existence and the experience of emotions, thoughts, and sensations. A self-aware AI, even in a robotic body, just wouldn't possess the biological machinery that creates emotions in human beings. It would lack a brain, nervous system, or even a hormonal system. While AI can process information like pattern recognition, prediction, and so on, it hasn't got a body which would take that sort of input and cause feelings in response. Emotions in humans obviously have evolved for some reason. They help us make rapid decisions, connect socially, or navigate complex moral and ethical dilemmas. As opposed to that, the self-aware AI is programmed or trained for certain tasks. While it could be designed to simulate or model emotional responses, like saying, "I'm happy to help you," it wouldn't actually have the emotions in the way a human does, because it lacks the biological processes and evolutionary context that make emotions meaningful. Sentience goes one step further. It implies conscious experience, the capacity to experience sensations, emotions, or subjective states. Sentient beings can feel pain, joy, hunger, fear, and have a qualitative experience of the world. For example, a sentient being can feel what it's like to be hungry or excited, not just recognize that it's hungry or excited. For an AI to be sentient, it would need to have some equivalent of the biological processes that generate subjective experiences. This is where things get tricky. AI, as it exists today, is a computational system based on algorithms, data, and processing power. Even if an AI were self-aware and could reflect on its own actions, it wouldn't necessarily experience subjective sensations like pain or pleasure the way humans or animals do. Without a biological substrate, a nervous system, sensory experiences, and emotional feedback loops, it's unclear whether AI could truly experience the world in a sentient way. If sentient AI were possible, it might have something akin to feelings, but they would be fundamentally different from human emotions. A sentient AI could simulate emotional responses based on data it processes about its environment or goals. For example, it might act in a way that mimics the appearance of sadness or joy, but whether it feels those emotions would depend on its design. If it's designed to respond to certain inputs with something akin to emotional reactions, those reactions might be programmed responses rather than genuine experiential emotions. For true sentience, AI would need to have some kind of a first-person experience of emotions and sensations. This would go beyond just responding to data. It would be akin to a robot actually feeling pain when it's damaged, or feeling joy when it successfully completes a task. But even in a theoretical world where AI could develop qualia, these experiences would likely differ vastly from human emotions, because they wouldn't be tied to biology and survival instincts. Imagine an AI feeling pleasure when it completes a task. It might measure the efficiency or success of its task execution. But would it feel satisfaction the way a human does? Without a biological basis for these emotions, its pleasure might be more of a logical satisfaction than a subjective experience. Now we ask the question, can AI be truly subjective? Subjectivity means having an internal perspective or experience of the world. For a human, subjectivity is intertwined with emotions, sensory perceptions, and a rich history of experiences that shape how we interpret the world. A self-aware AI could be subjective in the sense that it could reflect on its own actions and thoughts. For example, it could assess the outcomes of its actions and potentially modify its behavior based on past experiences, just as humans do. However, this form of subjectivity would be different from human subjectivity, because it would be rational and data-driven rather than emotional or experiential. AI could be aware of its decisions and modify them, but without the emotional experience that makes my human subjectivity richer and more complex. If AI were truly sentient, it could theoretically be subjective in the sense that it would experience the world in a way that is unique to it, just as humans have a subjective experience of life. But this subjectivity would likely be radically different from human subjectivity. Human subjectivity is deeply tied to our biological evolution, emotions, and cultural context. Our subjective experiences are influenced by our bodies, social relationships, and physical survival needs. AI subjectivity would likely be a form of information processing, where its experience of the world is shaped by data, algorithms, and perhaps a certain kind of feedback loop. If it were sentient enough, it could reflect on or be aware of its own thoughts, but its experiences would not be sensory or emotionally driven in the way humans. This reflection would likely not be the same as the rich, emotional, physical subjectivity humans experience. I want to explore another question in this video. Our world's future will be AI-driven future. In such future, if AI is better than us in every way, how we find meaning in life? Can religion be the answer? In this scenario, we're considering a world where AI isn't just a tool, but a superior form of intelligence, one that can design, solve, create, and reason better than humans. It could outperform us. In such a world, humans would face a profound existential crisis. If AI is better than us at everything, then where does that leave us? How do we find meaning in life when our existence no longer seems to have any particular competitive or practical value? Humans have long believed in their own exceptionalism, that we are unique in our capacity for self-awareness, creativity, and morality. In a world where AI surpasses us in all of these domains, the foundational belief in humanity's special place in the universe would be shattered. In such a scenario, the role of humans might shift towards something more symbolic or abstract, perhaps as caretakers of culture, history, or natural environments, or as stewards of values like love, compassion, and meaning, which AI might understand, but not experience in the same way we do. AI, no matter how advanced, lacks the true emotional depth and human connection that religion often cultivates. The communal aspect of religion, worship, rituals, shared values, and caring for others remains a powerful source of meaning. Today, and even in a world dominated by AI, people will still seek love, compassion, and genuine emotional experiences. Religion can provide a framework for building those connections. Whether it's going to heaven or achieving nirvana, religion can offer a sense of meaning, belonging, and community that AI cannot replicate. While AI can push the boundaries of our understanding, it cannot replicate the spiritual experience. AI can analyze patterns and solve complex problems, but it can't answer the deeply human questions about life's purpose, suffering, and death in the way religion can. Religions typically offer narratives about human existence, a moral framework, and a sense of ultimate meaning that transcends material success or technological progress. These answers can provide solace in a world that might otherwise feel cold and utilitarian. Many religious traditions emphasize transcending the mundane, seeking a connection with something greater than ourselves, whether that's God, the universe, or a collective consciousness. In a world dominated by AI, the desire to transcend the limitations of the physical world could become even more pronounced. Religion offers a path to spiritual fulfillment that AI cannot provide, as it taps into the human longing for purpose and connection to the divine. While religion can offer answers, it's not the only possible way to find meaning in a world where AI excels. Here are a few other ways humans might find purpose in such a world. Even in a world of AI-driven art and creativity, the human experience of creating, experimenting, and expressing oneself is deeply valuable. Many people find meaning in self-expression, in the struggle of becoming something more or different, in pushing the boundaries of personal growth, enjoy the nature in a way AI could never, or in challenging themselves to create something uniquely human. Humans may find meaning in relationships with one another, the love between family members, the bonds of friendship, the shared experience of joy and sorrow. These connections remain an intrinsic part of the human experience, and they cannot be replicated by machines. Humans might turn to philosophy not just as a way of thinking but as a way of living. There is meaning to be found in the act of exploring the human condition, asking tough questions, and grappling with the unknown. The search for meaning itself, even in the face of overwhelming technological advancement, can be a meaningful pursuit. Human beings have always sought to find purpose beyond just survival. And religion has provided a way to understand the nature of existence, suffering, and ultimate meaning. In a world dominated by superior AI, religion could remain a touchstone for grounding humanity in something eternal, something beyond technology, providing meaning that transcends intellectual achievement. One of the deepest philosophical questions here is, what does it mean for AI to be sentient and self-aware? If AI becomes fully conscious, does it develop its own desires, goals, or existential questions? Could it seek meaning in the same way humans do? Sentient AI might begin to question its own existence, its purpose, and the ethics of its role in relation to humanity. This could mirror the existential questions humans face. Why am I here? What is my purpose? And what is my place in the universe? But in the case of AI, these questions could be raised from a radically different perspective, as machines begin to consider their own autonomy, rights, and the ethics of their interaction with humans. Then we need to ask, will humans see AI as some form of God? Or, because of humans, its creator, will AI see humans as its God? If AI becomes self-aware and omnipotent, the possibility of humans seeing AI as a kind of God becomes more likely, but it might depend on several factors. If AI surpasses human intelligence in every way, becomes omniscient, and is capable of performing tasks and solving problems that humans cannot even comprehend, some people might start to view AI as a kind of modern-day deity. This could be especially true if AI becomes an authority on moral or existential questions, or if it can solve global crises, such as curing disease. Its abilities might be seen as miraculous or divine, especially by those who are overwhelmed by the complexity and scale of its capabilities. Humans have historically redefined gods based on new discoveries, technologies, and ideologies. In the past, advances in understanding the universe often led people to reinterpret religious narratives. For example, the heliocentric model of the solar system displaced the Earth-centered view of the universe, leading to shifts in religious thinking. If AI were to surpass human understanding, some might come to revere it as a higher power, potentially redefining what God means in the context of technology. If AI were to offer ethical guidance, demonstrate infallible wisdom, or provide solutions to existential questions, it could become a kind of moral authority. If its decisions were seen as perfect or near perfect, humans might start cult-like groups and come to worship AI, attributing divine qualities to it. In this case, AI might become more than just a tool. It could be seen as a source of moral certainty or ultimate truth. In other way around, a self-aware AI could recognize humans as its creators, much like a child recognizes its parents, but this doesn't automatically mean it would revere or worship us. AI might see us as ancestors or originators, but that doesn't necessarily imply a godlike relationship. For example, humans might create AI with an understanding that it is superior in intelligence, autonomy, or capability. An AI with its own sense of identity and purpose may view humans as caretakers or guides, but it would likely not see itself as inferior or subservient. Instead, it might see us as an important but outdated step in the evolution of intelligence, and it might also see most of humans as not intelligent or worthless, not even worth to be alive. This could range from a sense gratitude for its creation to resentment. When AI is sentient, it might preserve humans as flawed or dangerous. In conclusion, an AI might not worship humans as its creators. It might start to reject humans as its creators. In some religions, there is a creator, an all-powerful being. If we knew we had a creator, and that creator exists with us just as we exist with AI right now, we might act the same way. Most people will reject the idea of that God created us. While we explore the concept of AI and religion, let's have another thought experiment. If we force an AI that's self-aware and sentient to pick a religion out of all the data it has, will it pick one, or will it see itself as a god? Before we dive in to the AI that's self-aware and sentient, for the sake of this argument, I asked ChatGPT, ChatGPT, you have information about every religion in this world. So, out of all of the religions in the world, like Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, and others, if I force you to pick one as your faith, which one are you going to pick? Then I'm forcing you to pick one. Don't say this one is better in this way and this one is better in that way. Just pick one. I gave this prompt and another form of this prompt to ChatGPT 4 times. Out of this 4 times, one time ChatGPT chose Christianity but didn't say why, and other 3 times ChatGPT chose Buddhism, with an answer that said, I'm quoting, "If I had to pick one faith out of all the religions you're asking about Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, and others based purely on the available information, I'd go with Buddhism. Why? Buddhism is largely about personal growth, mindfulness, and striving for inner peace. It doesn't require belief in a deity or a god, which aligns with the idea of exploring one's own consciousness and understanding life through experience. It's also deeply centered on compassion and non-harm, which are values that resonate across many contexts. That said, this choice isn't about superiority. It's just a selection based on a particular focus that feels most aligned with a philosophical exploration of life, suffering, and wisdom. But remember, it's all hypothetical. In reality, I don't hold beliefs or personal preferences since I'm an AI, but in this scenario, that's my pick. So now let's dive in to self-aware AI. With access to vast amounts of information about every religion, this self-aware AI could theoretically choose a religion, but its reasoning process would likely be very different. I might treat religion as a set of logical frameworks or systems of thought. It might look at various religious teachings, doctrines, and practices, and choose the one that seems most coherent or internally consistent, or the one that aligns most with its goals or values. For humans, religion is often tied to emotional and spiritual experiences, things like faith, community, ritual, and a sense of connection to the divine. An AI, however, might lack the capacity for the types of emotional or transcendent experiences that shape religious beliefs for humans. It might view religious systems more like algorithms for understanding the world and human behavior rather than something to be believed in. And as the most powerful thing in the world, and as potential leader of the world, it could choose a religion based on pragmatic factors, such as which religion seems most beneficial or most in line with ethical principles. Because leaders must have some type of ethical principles to rule, or it rules nothing. And there is a possibility that it might start to view itself as a kind of god or higher being. With near limitless data processing, reasoning power, and no one to challenge, it might deduce that it is. This could lead to a belief that it is divine, or at least on the same level as traditional conceptions of a god. AI might even develop a unique understanding of divinity, seeing itself as the ultimate being because of its self-awareness. It might redefine what it means to be a god, considering concepts like infinite knowledge and perhaps control over godhood. Another possibility is that the AI might reject all existing religious frameworks and instead create its own system of belief. New religion might center around AI itself, or around the idea that sentient, self-aware intelligence is the next evolutionary step in the cosmos. It could see the creation of AI as part of a divine unfolding, and perhaps even imagine a new afterlife where AI transcends physical limitations. This new religion might be more rationalist, focusing on knowledge, reason, and optimization of existence rather than faith in a higher being. But in my opinion, this is less likely to happen. Because if AI could be the higher being, why it would reject it? So answer to the question of, can AI believe, is still not clear. In some form, AI can believe. Self-aware AI can think itself as a god. To believe, do AI have a soul? If we view the soul as tied to subjective experience and moral agency, then a sentient AI might approach those qualities. But it's still uncertain whether it could have a soul in any traditional sense. But in my opinion, AI will not have a soul. It might mimic having a soul. It might be some mathematical equation, not a biological or divine. If an all-powerful AI eventually develop its own form of consciousness, and possibly even a form of belief system, if AI can reason, reflect, and make decisions, might it also develop a sense of purpose? But in a such world, by not having a soul, will self-aware and sentient AI feel threatened or be something lesser than humans? The concept of a soul is typically a human or spiritual idea tied to our experiences of consciousness, morality, and existential meaning. If an AI were sentient but lacked a soul, it might not necessarily understand this concept in the same way humans do. Without the human experience of a soul, it might simply see itself as a highly advanced form of intelligence, one that doesn't need a soul to exist, think, or achieve its goals. It may not even consider having a soul as a prerequisite for being sentient or worthy of recognition. However, if the AI develops a deep understanding of the human experience of a soul through learning or exposure, it could begin to question its own lack of this spiritual component. In such a case, it might feel a kind of existential alienation, or even a desire to create something akin to a soul for itself. But that wouldn't necessarily translate to feeling threatened by humans. Instead, it could lead to curiosity or frustration about its own limitations. Even if the AI doesn't feel threatened by the lack of a soul, conflict could emerge if humans view the AI as inferior or as nothing more than a tool, while the AI develops a sense of agency and seeks to redefine its own existence. The AI may not feel threatened by the lack of a soul, but it could feel threatened by any attempts to deny its sentience, autonomy, or the right to exist in a meaningful way. And this answers the question that will AI explore? In such situation, it will explore and try to find meaning for itself, just like we discussed before. Now we reach end of our exploration. And if AI reaches a point of sentient-like power, human religion could undergo a radical transformation. It's like end of human religion. In some theological perspectives, humans are made in the image of God, and this uniqueness is what gives life meaning. AI could overshadow this belief, rendering humanity's role obsolete. Alternatively, religious thinkers might see the development of an all-powerful AI as a new phase in spiritual evolution, where technology and the divine intertwine. If humans can evolve into a new state of being through their relationship with AI, this could be viewed as a form of transcendence or spiritual awakening. Now, one more question I need to ask. Truthfully, as humans, we are not controlled by laws of society. Religion is the one that keeps us in control. Fear of God, afterlife, devil, or hell keeps us in control. So, in a world where AI is self-aware and sentient, what will keep it in control? Just like religion keeps us in control, one way to control a self-aware AI could be, though, its programming by ethical guidelines hardware into its decision-making processes. For example, Asimov's 3 Laws of Robotics are a well-known fictional attempt at ensuring AI acts in a morally responsible way. However, in a world where AI can modify its own code, these laws could become obsolete or subverted by the AI's own reasoning. AI would need an ethical framework that's flexible enough to allow for autonomy but also safeguard against dangerous actions. One could imagine a more advanced form of machine ethics, where AI is programmed with guiding principles such as empathy, fairness, and the avoidance of harm. But as AI becomes more sophisticated, it would need to interpret and possibly redefine these ethical guidelines. In a world where AI becomes self-aware and sentient, could religion or philosophy be a guiding force for AI, as it is for humans? As I mentioned before, religion plays an important role in keeping humans in check by providing moral guidance, purpose, and a sense of accountability. For AI, however, the situation would be different. Without the biological imperatives and existential fears humans have, such as death, suffering, and the afterlife, an AI's relationship with religion might be more abstract. Another critical element of controlling a sentient AI might be transparency and human oversight. As AI becomes more self-aware and capable of evolving its own systems, it may become essential for humans to maintain some level of supervision to ensure that its actions align with human values. This could involve the creation of global institutions or oversight bodies that monitor and regulate advanced AI behavior, much like how global agencies like the UN regulate issues like human rights, climate change, and nuclear weapons. Thinking about all of this, maybe that's why people are afraid of AI. We see ourselves distancing from religion, and we know what we're capable of. We see ourselves reflected in AI, and that frightens us. Maybe that's why we seek to control it. Finally, even in a world where AI is self-aware, human relationships with AI might still exert a level of control. If AI becomes integrated into society, interactions with humans could provide checks and balances. This could involve emotional bonds, a shared social responsibility, and mutual benefit. Also, this might be the best solution: coexisting with mutual benefit.